Hello everyone, I am Kiran Joshi. Hope you all are doing good. Children, this is the second video of Class 8 History, chapter Civilizing the Native, Educating the Nation. In the first video of the chapter, we learnt that in 1854, Charles Wood sent a dispatch to Governor General in India with his recommendations on the system of education to be followed in India. So, children, an obvious question that comes in mind is how children were taught in pre British times. Let's see. Dear children, in the 1830s, William Adam, who was a Scottish missionary, toured several districts of Bengal and Bihar. And he did so because he had been given the task by the East India Company to present a report on the progress of education in vernacular schools. Now, children, vernacular term refers here as local languages used in imperial India. So, vernacular schools means local schools. William Adam produced the report according to which in Bengal and Bihar there were more than 1 lakh pathshalas. These pathshalas were very small institutions and each pathshala had maximum 20 students, not more than that. Still, in these pathshalas, quite a large number of children, say more than 20 lakh children, were being taught. Children, mostly wealthy and rich people or the local community, established these pathshalas. Sometimes such institutions were started by teachers also. In these pathshalas, the system of education was quite flexible, and many things that we associate with schools now, they were not there at that time in the pathshalas. For example, in the pathshalas, there was no fixed fee for students. There were no printed books in pathshalas. Even there were no separate buildings for schools. Benches or chairs were not there for students in such institutions. There were no blackboard and no separate classes. Even the registers to maintain or record the attendance were not made. These pathshalas did not follow any regular timetable, nor did they conduct annual examinations. Pathshala, if these all these things were not present in the pathshalas at that time, then how were the classes conducted? So, children, at some places the classes were held under a tree. In some other places they were held in the corner of a village shop or temple, or at the teacher's or guru's home. Fee was paid according to the income of the parents, where rich had to pay more than the poor. As there was no prescribed syllabus and no books and blackboard, teaching was done accordingly orally, and gurus decided what to teach to the children as per the needs of the students. As there were no separate classes, all students sat together at one place. However, they were grouped according to their levels of learning, and gurus interacted these groups separately. William Adams found that such flexible system was in accordance to the need of the local community. For example, during the harvest time, rural children too worked in the fields with their families. Therefore, classes were not held during such time. The pathshalas started after the harvesting and storing of crops was over. In this way, even the children of peasant families could also study in these institutions. Children, till mid 19th century, this system of local pathshalas continued without much interference from the company, and because the company's main focus was towards the higher education only. But after 1854, the company decided that the vernacular education system should be improved. And for that, the company had to introduce some order within the system, impose routines, establish rules, and ensure regular inspections. So, for all these things, the company appointed many government pundits. Each Pandit was made in charge of 4 to 5 these pathshalas or schools to look after. And each Pandit was given the task to visit the pathshalas under him and try to improve the standard of teaching in these pathshalas. The gurus of each pathshala, the guru of each pathshala was asked to prepare and submit periodic reports. They were asked, they were also, you can say, instructed to conduct the classes as per a routine timetable. Another change was the use of textbooks. That means the teaching was to be based on textbooks, and to check or test the learning outcome, pathshalas had to conduct annual examinations. In contrast to the earlier system of no fixed fee, now the students were asked to pay a regular fee. To bring order and routine in the system, students were asked to attend the classes regularly, sit on fixed seats or places, and follow the new rules of discipline. Those institutions or pathshalas which accepted and introduced new rules were given government grants, while others which did not accept to work within the new system, they did not get support of government grants. Gradually, these gurus who wanted to continue with old system and independent teaching, they found it difficult to compete with the government aided and regulated pathshalas. In the earlier system, as the timetable was flexible, the children from poor peasant families could also go to pathshala. But the new system required students to attend the schools regularly, even during the harvest time when the children of poor families had to work in the fields and support their families. As they were unable to attend school, it was seen as they were indisciplined and lacking a desire to learn. While the British officials were thinking about education in India, many thinkers from different parts of India also felt the need for a wider spread of education. Many Indians favored the Western education to modernize India and urged the British to open more schools, colleges, and universities and spend more money on education. However, there were other Indians who opposed the Western education. For example, Mahatma Gandhi and Ravindranath Tagore. According to Mahatma Gandhi, the colonial education developed a sense of inferiority among Indians. They started considering the Western education as superior and losing pride in their own culture. The colonial education enslaved Indians and cast an evil spell on them. Indians educated in colonial education admired British rule and appreciated all that came from the West. So Gandhiji wanted an education that could help Indians regain their sense of dignity and self-respect. Therefore, during the national movement, Gandhiji asked students to leave British educational institutions so that the British could understand that Indians were no longer willing to become slaves. Mahatma Gandhi strongly favored Indian languages to be the medium of teaching. He said that English education had disabled Indians and taken them away from their own surroundings where they were like strangers in their own lands. Such English educated Indians spoke English, disliked or criticized their local culture, and couldn't associate or connect themselves to the people of India. Mahatma Gandhi said that Western education emphasized on reading and writing instead of oral knowledge. It lacked practical knowledge and life experience. According to him, education should develop a person's mind and soul. Literacy, which means learn to read and write, cannot be considered as education itself. Rather, it is a means by which one can be educated. Therefore, people must learn a craft, work with their hands to know how things work, Through this, their mind and their capacity to understand would be developed. With the growth of nationalism, many Indians started thinking of a system of national education which would be completely different from the system that the Britishers had established. Another very famous Indian personality who reacted against Western education was Rabindranath Tagore. Children, when he was a child, he hated going to school. He compared school as a prison where he was not allowed what he wished to do. Therefore, even while sitting inside the classroom, his mind would wander away. With such experience of his school days, he wanted to establish a school on growing up, a school where the child could be happy, free, and creative, where the child could explore her thoughts and desires. According to him, childhood must be a time of self learning. So, a child should not be kept in the rigid and restricting discipline of the schooling system set up by the British. He said that teachers had to be imaginative. They should understand the child and help her develop her curiosity, and that the then present system of schooling failed to do so. He believed that creative learning could be encouraged within a natural environment. Therefore, he established his school 100 kilometers away from Calcutta in 1901. He called it Shanti Niketan. Shanti means peace and Niketan means home. So, an abode of peace where children would develop their creativity in natural surroundings. Dear children, Tagore and Mahatma Gandhi both had some similarity in thoughts of education. However, there were some differences also. For example, Gandhiji strongly criticized Western civilization and its worship of machines and technology, whereas Tagore wanted a combination of modern Western civilization with the best Indian traditions. Therefore, at Shantiniketan, he emphasized on teaching science and technology along with art, music, and dance. To conclude, we can say that many thinkers were thinking and talking what could be a national education system. Some individuals wanted to bring some changes in the prevailing system set up by the British, while others argued for creating alternative systems to educate people in a truly national culture. This debate on national education continued even after the independence. That's all for the chapter. Here are some questions. So, the first question: what were the special features of a Pathshala? Second question: why, according to Mahatma Gandhi, was practical knowledge essential for the development of a person's mind and soul? Third question: explain Tagore's ideas of education. Fourth question: what were the differences between Mahatma Gandhi and Tagore on education? Children, if you found this video helpful and you wish to watch more of such content, do consider subscribing to the channel. Also, if you have any queries or questions or comments, please post them in the comment section below. Thank you.